रोटेट कहाँ स्विंग कहाँ करे छे? जखनी रोटेट What is this यार? Now another question. In simply supported beam carrying a uniformly distributed load W per unit length, the point of contraflexure line in the center of the beam lies at the center of the beam depends upon the length of the beam. D does not depend. Its answer is D does not exist. Another question. When there is a sudden increase or decrease in the shear force between any 2 points, it indicates that there is a point load at the 2 points. When there is a sudden increase or decrease in the shear force between 2 points, in between 2 points, it indicates that there is a point load at the 2 point. In a simple bending moment theory, one of the assumptions is that the material of the beam is isotropic. This assumption means that the elastic constants are same in all the directions. When a beam is subjected to bending moment, the stress at any point is the distance of the point from the neutral axis, that is direct proportional to the point from the neutral axis. Another question. When a cantilever beam is loaded at its free end and the maximum compressive stress shall develop at top fiber. When a cantilever beam is loaded at the free end, the maximum compressive strength shall develop at bottom fiber. Another question. A beam of uniform strength A beam of uniform strength has same bending moment, same bending stress at every section. At the neutral axis of the beam, the layers do not undergo any strain. At the neutral axis of the beam, the shear stress is maximum. At the neutral axis of a beam, shear stress is maximum. The maximum deflection of a point. The maximum deflection of a fixed beam carrying a central load point lies at center of the beam. The maximum deflection of a fixed beam. Maximum deflection of the The maximum deflection of a fixed beam carrying a central point load lies at the product of Young's modulus E and the moment of inertia I is known as flexural rigidity. The product of Young's modulus E and moment of inertia I is known as flexural rigidity. In a simply supported beam A of a length L, breadth B, and depth D carries a central load W. Another beam B of the beam same dimension carries a central load equal to 2 the deflection of beam will be as the beam of A, that is double. When a shaft is subjected to a twisting movement, every cross section of the shaft will be under shear stress. When a shaft is subjected to a twisting movement, every cross section of the shaft will be under shear stress. The shear stress at the outer side fiber of a circular shaft under tension is maximum. The shear stress at the outermost fiber of the circular shaft under tension is maximum. The torsional rigidity of a shaft is given by T upon theta. The torsional rigidity of a shaft, torsional rigidity of a shaft, torsional rigidity of a shaft, torsional rigidity of a shaft. The torque transmitted by a solid shaft of dimension d is pi upon 16 tau into d cube. The torque transmitted by a solid shaft. The torque transmitted by a solid shaft of diameter d is pi upon 16 tau d cube. When two shafts of same length, one of which is hollow, transmit equal torque and have equal maximum stress, then they should have equal polar modular. When a column is subjected to an eccentric load, the stress induced in the column will be direct and indirect stress bond. Direct and indirect stress bond. The load at which the column just buckles is known as any one of these, that is buckling load, critical load, crippling load. Compression member. Compression member always tends to buckle in the direction of axial of load, perpendicular to the axis of load, minimum cross section, least radius of gyration. यसमा कुनमा हुन्छ least radius of gyration. The column that falls due to direct stress is called short column. The buckling load for a given column depends upon area of cross section of the column, length and least radius of gyration of column, modulus of elasticity for the material of the column, all of the above. Slenderness ratio is the ratio of area of column to the lateral least radius of gyration, length of the column to the least radius of gyration, least radius of gyration and to the area of column, least radius of gyration to the length of column. Another question. The Euler's formula holds good only for long column. Euler's formula holds only good for long column. Euler's formula holds good only for long column. Euler's formula only holds for good column. Euler's formula only holds for good column. Euler's formula only holds for good column. The state developed in the material without any permanent state is called plastic limit. The stress developed in the material without any permanent state is called elastic limit. The tensile test is carried on material ductile. The tensile test is carried on ductile material. The compression test is carried on brittle material. The compression test is carried on brittle materials. Factor of safety is defined as the ratio of ultimate stress ultimate stress to working stress, 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 means stress to working stress. Factor of safety is defined as the ratio of ultimate stress to normal stress.